What's up, guys? My name is Zach Black. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Weekly Wellness Wednesday. We got 2 weekly wellness episodes coming this week because we missed last week. How wonderful. Anyway, I'm also going to have some more videos being recorded in advance because my schedule's going to be flipping up here soon, so hopefully I'll be back in the swing of things before those videos are all up. And hopefully you guys won't notice that there was anything wrong at all, but maybe there will be, so I'm just letting you guys know in advance. If videos aren't being uploaded, it's probably because I am busy doing some other stuff, but I'll try to make sure to let you guys know. Anyway, on to today's topic. We're talking about how to overcome addictions. We're bringing this up because I recently was revisiting a lot of old energies and all kinds of stuff since this year began, and honestly, it's been really annoying. I'm not gonna lie. It's been really annoying. Things finally feel like they're, moving out of that and finally moving up again. And that's awesome. I'm really excited, honestly. Because it's been some shit. Anyway, overcoming addictions is always going to be a mental battle above anything else. And a lot of times what you're really addicted to is being around the people you associate with whatever addiction it is, or feeling around that person or while you're doing whatever it is. For me, I'm going to use video games as an example. Now, this obviously isn't something that is literally has like nicotine or something in it. It's definitely and entirely a mental addiction. And that's why I think it makes a perfect example. For me, I was playing lots of video games again, and I saw lots of parts of my life kind of being affected by it again, and it was, irritating. So I obviously wanted to get rid of it again. And I noticed that one of the most important factors is the people around you that you associate with. Most of my friends, over the years, like my really good friends, were mostly online for playing games because we play games day in, day out together, And for years, a lot of them I know very, very well, and I've been playing games with them for years, so it's, it's kind of a big thing for me to not play games. Just trying to give you guys kind of background as to what's going on. But now that I'm kind of moving on from that part of my life and kind of opening the door to so many new opportunities, I'm noticing obviously a lot of new opportunities. But I noticed that it was definitely kind of my own little addiction to it. And I didn't even realize really that it was an addiction, despite people even mentioning it because I played them way too much. I never really acknowledged it. It was just like, I do what I do, and I found that it becomes a lot easier to overcome that kind of stuff when you stop associating with the people that you did those activities with. And obviously this can be a really challenging thing to do, if those are like the people you're around a lot. I know for me, most of my good friends, they're online, and for me to just stop playing games, it's like I'm just giving up like so many friends, like just like that, because a lot of them, they don't live anywhere near me. So I know how it is. It's definitely a struggle giving up a lot of your friends like that for a lot of people. So it can be a terrible experience for a little while, but the beauty of it is we've talked about this river effect in the past, where it's like, what happens when you take something out of a river? Water fills that spot immediately, right? If you have like a big tree branch in the river, the water's flowing around it, and it's just, kind of creating a distortion in the water. But when you remove that stump, now the water's going to fill that hole, and it's going to continue flowing the way it should. And this is the same effect that happens when you give up different addictions in your life. You can think of it as a stump in your river, and when you get rid of it, it's going to be filled with something else. And it can be pretty much anything. For me, it's a lot of new life opportunities. a lot more people, and just general things. I wouldn't have started this channel if I hadn't kicked that addiction to begin with. So it's kind of a lot, and it can feel kind of bad too, obviously because of your friends and whatnot, but as you move on from it, it gets better. You meet more people, and they're obviously gonna meet more people too. That's just the way life is. Friends come and go, and being really attached to those friends can really just be painful for both of you, because in you deciding to better your life, and this is also another aspect, if you don't want to give up those people, you don't have to. There is another option here, and we're going to get into that. But as you move on from that, you might inspire them to want to, change their life as well. And maybe just you not being around will be enough for them to not even be interested anymore, because they only really wanted to do it to be around you. So it's possible. I'm not saying that's the case in my situation, but it's possible. And honestly, it can be really awesome. And letting your friends know what you're doing, or whoever it is, whether it's your spouse or your parents or whoever, letting them know what's going on can also help dramatically in overcoming it, and maybe even inspiring them to do the same change. It's very possible. But it doesn't happen every time. And don't be too attached, or don't expect one outcome so much that you're just massively disappointed when it doesn't happen. Just kind of remove as much expectation as you can. That way you're kind of neutral. And as it happens, you're okay with it, and you just let it happen, But it can definitely be a lot, and it can be definitely a huge challenge. Even something as small as what I'm saying with video games. A lot of people look at that and they're probably thinking, you're addicted to video games? What? Is that even possible? And you can be addicted to anything, honestly. So it is what it is. People are addicted to, stuff like smoking weed or something, and, it is what it is. That's technically not an addictive substance of any kind, so how can you be addicted to it, And people get this assumption that, because it doesn't have nicotine, or it's not actually addicting, then it's not addicting. But that's really not true. And acknowledging that something is an addiction is honestly the first part to getting over it. And that's probably something you've heard before, honestly. But it's definitely a challenge at some times, but it's also easier than it may seem at the same time. Especially when you acknowledge the fact that it's a mental battle above anything else. You can really do whatever it takes to get over it in your mind, because once it's been defeated in the mind, and this can go both ways. Once you've either won the battle or lost the battle in your mind, it's going to reflect in your life. Things start in your mind before they become a reality, no matter what it is, whether it's, being stagnant in life and you want to make some new opportunities happen, get things rolling, whatever. It starts in the mind, and then it comes to doing the actual action. That's just how it is. And that's the same thing with addictions. It's the same thing with everything. Starts in your mind, then it becomes an action, and then you actually see it happening. So you really got to be on point with your mental game, and meditation is obviously very helpful with that. I highly encourage meditating, as always. But I would say one of your first steps here, guys, to overcoming an addiction would be to identify your addiction, and to start identifying the people you associate with it, if any. And after you do that, you can take steps into either removing them from your life, either just not talking to them, or you can actually mention it to them that you're doing that, and let them know that you're making those changes, and that way they can, possibly be understanding. But it can go both ways. They can end up just making fun of you, or whatever, there's a lot of different things that can happen. Or they could end up going with you and being like, hey, you know what? That sounds awesome. I'm going to come too. You never know. It could happen. You don't, if you don't have an expectation of what's going to happen, then, you won't influence what happens at all. and you won't be disappointed because you didn't have an expectation to begin with. So, yeah, definitely identify the people around you first that are associated with whatever addiction it is, and either let them know that you're making a change or just remove contact if you don't feel like it's going to be beneficial to let them know. Your next step from there is really the sticking to it part. When you start missing certain things, you can even replace it with a different activity. Changing your surroundings, moving, something like that. All of that can really make a dramatic change. And even changing certain lifestyle habits. Like every time you have that urge to do that addiction, do something else. Like just replace that addiction with something else that's more helpful. With any activity. For me, I started replacing my stuff with something else. With video games specifically, if I wanted to play games or something during the day, instead I would just listen to music or work out. Those are my things. And that's worked for me. Different things work for different people, obviously. People with like a porn addiction, a lot of people are addicted to porn. That's a very big thing. And you might be wanting to kick that addiction. A very effective way of doing that, since it's typically done, I would say, in the morning or at night, a good way to replace that is to maybe even watch something like ASMR. We haven't mentioned ASMR in the channel. ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, and it's actually this tingling effect you get from a certain sound. And I don't know if we actually mentioned ASMR before, but either way. There's tons of videos on YouTube about ASMR. You can find different ASMR artists that you personally like that, do things that, really stimulate that ASMR tingle sensation. And it's not sexual at all, obviously. I mean, there's all kinds of videos on the internet, so let's be honest. There's probably some videos that are sexual ASMR as well. But normally they're intended for relaxation and just that tingling effect you get from ASMR. But the reason this is such an effective replacement is because that tingling sensation is a dopamine release. And a lot of times dopamine is kind of that culprit that makes us addicted to things that otherwise wouldn't be addicting. Because dopamine itself is a great feeling, so you become kind of addicted to it. Same thing with food. You're addicted to food because of that dopamine release and because sugar and whatnot is actually addicting. But any kind of food, it's going to stimulate that dopamine release, and that's going to cause that addiction very easily. So ASMR is a fantastic way. I mean, honestly, that would be like a go-to replacement if you're somebody who's addicted to porn, because you can, watch it on whatever you want. You could even watch it on the same device you watched porn on. Fuck it. If that works, do it. It's just whatever you can make work is the most important. And again, replacing certain addictive behaviors with other activities or certain addictive activities with a different activity is probably your best bet for overcoming any kind of addiction. And I recommended ASMR for porn just because it's so accessible, it's the same thing as watching porn, basically. You're just going on and watching a video. Except in this case, this one's actually beneficial. It actually can help you sleep. And overall, you might even learn some stuff. I know some people teach different things through ASMR, and you might learn some stuff. Yay. But you can also listen to, various different videos that can just be helpful in a lot of ways. ASMR is really a multifaceted kind of thing. It can help with multiple different things. If you have insomnia even, I mean, it's something that's helpful. But anyway, those are two of like the most important factors when you're overcoming addiction. The people you're around, just to summarize, the people you're around and replacing your addictions with some other activity. Extremely effective right there, from the mental aspect of things. Another thing if it's say your parents or something, for me, um, one of my things is eating out. Me and my mom a lot of times would go for drives or something, and we'd go get like some fries or something and maybe a burger. Now I'm a vegan, so I don't even eat burgers anymore, obviously. But occasionally we would still go out and get fries because it was just kind of our thing. We'd be able to talk, go for a drive, whatever. So, fast food obviously would be what I'm talking about here, being addicted to kind of going out and just liking that experience because I associate it with my mom. The most effective means of overcoming that would just be, instead of associating that activity with that person, just go be around the person. This is actually mentioned on, oddly enough, it was even the same scenario on Ryan Cropper's channel. Definitely recommend you guys watch his channel as well if I haven't already given him a shout out. Definitely deserving of another one. Sorry about that pop there, my bad. Overcoming these addictions can be quite a challenge, but honestly guys, incorporating even just these 3 things will make the whole process dramatically easier. I mean, it's always going to be a battle no matter what kind of strategy you have, but if you incorporate these 3 things, it can really have a dramatic impact and make it so much easier. So again, find the people that you associate with the addiction and either remove them or convert them to your new way of living. Second of all, replace your addictive activities with something else at the same time that you would normally do it. Try to get a similar kind of activity, or at least one that's done around the same time, and replace it with that one instead. That's hopefully healthier, obviously. And if you have an addiction to a certain activity with a certain person, again, you can also just go be around that person in a different activity and let them know, like, hey, I don't want to do that activity, whatever it is. And in my case with my mom, and in Ryan's case with his mom in the same scenario, oddly enough, or similar. Just being, obviously with my mom, I'm not going to just have my mom be out of my life because I'm trying to kick an addiction. I'm just going to let her know what's up and just let her know, hey, I'm going to be around you in a different scenario. Like, let's just go for a drive and not do that. Definitely helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that these 3 steps help, and I hope, I didn't ramble on for too long. I know this was quite a long video, but I like to be thorough in things like this because this is kind of a topic that I feel just demands that kind of thorough speak about it. So hopefully it helps. If it did, leave a like, and you guys can subscribe to see more of my videos, and I could not mess up my outro after not recording for 2 weeks. Good God. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic rest of your day, and much love to you.